Hello, everyone. My name is Ian, and welcome back. I'm reacting to another old video of mine. The very first 100% honest video we did was Electronic Arts 100% honest, and I did a whole video talking about that, which, yeah, I just finished recording right now, if you can't tell. I want to do this one too because this video was a big deal. Because this was our follow up to the Electronic Arts video, and we're like, how do we follow up on that thing? How do we do this video again? Because it seems like people really like this video. This was after it started to see a little bit of viral success. It had gotten to about like 9,000, 10,000 views, and we're like, okay, we got to do this again because this people seem to like this sort of thing. Like a lot of the early videos on Gaming Wildlife was just us. Let's just throw stuff at the wall. The first 4 months of the web series was just let's make the Foundation series. That was going to be the show. And then eventually it was just like, what if we just did any kind of video? We could do comedy videos. We could do sketches, we could do reactions and reviews and stuff. And this was one of the videos uh was originally called the Electronic Arts PSA, but it was a SNL style sketch like the digital shorts that Andy Samberg did. And yeah, let's roll with it and make more of these. And so the very first one after the Electronic Arts one was Valve. So this video set a bit of a precedent because this was the first kind of video where we were trying to predict stuff because the Electronic Arts video was made very much as a reaction. I despised what they did with SimCity. I was just like, this is awful. This game's crap. This company's shit. I hate them. This was more of a prediction of how things were going, because Valve at the time, this would have been December of 2013, as opposed to April of 2013. So it took us about, I can do math. It took us about 8 months to make another 100% honest video because the very first one was just like a pure adrenaline fueled reaction, and this one was a bit more contemplative, took some time to think about. And so the Valve episode was I'm looking at other things to do videos, and one that jumped out at me was, Valve used to make video games. Now they just do Steam, because that's all they had been mostly doing from 2007 when they started selling other games on Steam. Because they had Steam prior, but it was just for Half-Life. It was just for Counter-Strike. It was just for their own games. And then in 2007, they're like, can we sell other people's games on here? And then by 2013, it looked like that was just what they were going to do. They had done Portal 2. They had done Half Life Episode 1 and 2, but they had never released the third one, and it looked like they just weren't going to. And so we had made this bold prediction that they're not gonna. They're just gonna make Steam from now on, and it turned out to be correct. I think the problem is this kind of set a precedent for a lot of future 100% honests, which is partially why I ended up getting burned out on this series. Was that every video felt like it had to predict something. It had to be like, how can we predict what the future of this industry is going to be? And this was just a lucky guess. A lot of everything that 100% honest does is speculation. Everything. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with DoorDash. I just know that they're do a bunch of really terrible business stuff. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with NFTs. All I know is that it's just a really shady business practice, and everything that I look up about them is just awful. I can tell you right now, we're working on a Warner Brothers episode that Sean is actually going to do. He's going to be one of the board members of Warner Brothers, so that's going to be fun. And we don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we can speculate. That's the big thing, is that we can look at what's the elephant in the room. That was always the big question. 100% honest. What's the elephant in the room? what is this company not willing to come out and say? The exact opposite of what they are willing to say, that's what we're going to base this episode on, and that's what the Valve episode was based on. It's like, Valve doesn't want to just come out and say we're not doing video games anymore, but they're not doing video games anymore. It's very simple. So let's react to if Valve were 100% honest with us. Released originally in December of 2013. Here's the video. First things first. This logo was our original logo because I was just like, this is a really cool idea. What if it's a controller that looks like a W and then the cable looks like a G? Which is what Geeks Welcome's logo is, except that Geeks Welcome is a custom controller that we had an artist actually make for us. This was just the N64 controller, which I was told at a later point by someone else, you should probably change that, because if Nintendo ever gets wind of this, they'll come after you. And it's like, it's different enough, but I also don't want to test the waters. I don't want to be like, we can risk it. No. If Nintendo wants to come after us, they will, even though, yes, it's very obviously an N64 controller, but that was the only controller that looked like a W, and GW I thought would make for a good visual shorthand. But yeah, we eventually changed this because we just didn't want to deal with the legal issues if it ever came up. So yeah.
Hello, I'm Gabe Newell, founder and managing director of Valve Corporation.
That is actually my father, Doug Weaver, who I love my dad very much. He is an awesome dude. He's done many videos with me, but he also did a lot of videos with my film people out at KU, which was a weird thing to do because my dad ended up getting invited to more film projects than I did, because I was attending university, I was a film student, and my dad would get invited to, hey, you're really cool, do you want to do like acting and stuff? Because my dad has a background in doing acting. He has a background in theater. He has a master's degree in theater from Michigan State University. Michigan State, not Michigan U. Michigan State. And he knows a lot about acting, a lot about theater, and he teaches it because he's a really cool dude. I love my dad very much. It was a little disconcerting at times to sort of be like, wait, you're inviting my dad, but you're not inviting me onto a film project? But at the same time, my dad's very, very, very good at this, which is why I wanted him to play Gabe Newell, because he kind of looks like Gabe Newell a little bit, sort of, a little bit. He's got the gray hair, he's got the facial hair. Obviously, we don't actually look like the CEOs that we depict, because we're a comedy group. We're making fun of people in the same way that SNL doesn't always look like it. But SNL has a team of makeup artists and costumers, professional people, and we're a bunch of nobodies from Midwestern Kansas in the middle of the United States with no money, and this is the best that we can do. And granted, Dad looks alarmingly like Gabe Newell. He looks a lot like Gabe Newell. My dad always actually got told when he was younger that he looked like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Funny story about that. When the movie Twister first came out, the 1997 movie Twister, my dad got calls from friends of his out in Texas, out in Michigan, out in other places, and they were like, Doug, you didn't tell us you were doing film. And he's like, I'm not doing film. Because he looked exactly like Philip Seymour Hoffman back in 1997. Which is pretty cool, because my dad loved Philip Seymour Hoffman. May he rest in peace, because he was a great actor, troubled by drugs, which a lot of actors are. But yeah, so anyway, my dad's awesome. Let's watch him.
Today I would like to address the biggest question our customers and fans alike have.
Wait a second. Why is this in Spanish? I just realized that the subtitles are in Spanish. Can I change that? Why are they in Spanish? I'm just gonna turn the subtitles off. It's probably fine. Spanish. What an odd choice. I just realized that. I don't. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not very much. I can leave them on. No, I'll leave them off. It's fine.
What is the status of Half-Life 3?
Oh, God, we talked about this so much. Oh, Half-Life 3 is a mess. Yeah. Has it been long enough that the internet's forgotten the whole thing about Half-Life 3? Basically, short version. Valve made Half-Life 2. Huge success. Valve then said, we're going to continue the story of Half-Life 2, but we're going to break it up into episodic chunks. And everyone's like, cool, that's fun. They released episode 1, and they're like, we're going to do more of them quickly. And then it took like a year or so to release episode 2, and everyone's like, Valve, you got to get this out quicker. And Valve's like, okay, we're going to get episode 3 out pretty soon. And that was 2007. It has been 15 years, and we never gotten Half-Life 2 Episode 3, or Half-Life 3, or any continuation until 2020, when they released Alex, Half-Life Alex, which is not a continuation of Half-Life 2 Episode 3, not a continuation of Half-Life 3, but a separate side story about the female character from Half-Life 2 and about how she got to the point where she's at. Like, how did all this happen? And so it's about her background. We were told by people in the industry that Half-Life 3 basically got started a bunch of times, and then because Valve are a bunch of perfectionists, they were like, we want to make sure we get it right. Let's try this. This isn't very good. Scrap the whole thing. Let's try this. This isn't very good. Scrap the whole thing. And that happened multiple times until finally Valve just canned everyone because they couldn't get it right, and they were just like, screw it. We're not going to make this. I remember Mark Laidlaw basically posted here's what the plot of Half-Life Episode 3 was going to be before the whole project was canned. And so for years, gamers obsessed over what the hell happened to Half-Life 3? Where did this game go? We want to see it happen. And this never came to fruition. So we did so many videos talking about what the hell is Half-Life 3, where is it, what happened to it, because it's just the biggest mystery, because no one ever officially said anything. There are a bunch of rumors thrown around, and so this is our first take on it, which I think turned out to be pretty dang correct. So here we go.
It is not an easy question to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to address both it and every video game we have in development.
Uh-huh.
You see, we at Valve don't want to make video games anymore. We've taken...
So, another thing that these early videos did was that a lot of their, like, subtitle, like, the hook, whenever we say, we at company, short one-liner. The short one-liners used to be very punchy. It used to be really, like quick. We at Valve don't want to make video games anymore. Electronic Arts doesn't give a shit about its customers. Like, they were very quick and punchy. And that got harder to do as time went on. And so you'll notice that a lot of later videos are a lot more, like, wordy. They're a lot less punchy. And it doesn't work as well, but it, like, I feel like the content in general is still really good. It's just that things got more complicated, and so we would no longer say something quick and punchy like, Valve doesn't want to make video games anymore. And it eventually became something else. But yeah. So yeah, you'll notice that with early episodes. Early episodes are a lot simpler. They're not quite as complicated as the later episodes, but then as time goes on, things get more complicated. It's just the nature of the beast. Even this video is only 3 minutes and 14 seconds, which, yeah, the last video 100% on, well, the last few 100% honest I did for Gaming Wildlife were all like 6 to 8 minutes, and the Completely Honest series that I do for this channel is like I've done a 20-minute one, I've done a 6-minute one, and then we're writing the Warner Brothers episode right now, which is currently about 3 pages long, which will translate to about 6 to 8 minutes. So it's probably going to be pretty long because that's how a lot of these videos go. I tapped the microphone there. Anyway,
Taken a drastic position with Steam recently, and by that I mean we want to work with it full time from now on. I mean, have you seen how much money it makes us? I'd like.
so this was let me roll back real quick. This was also the first time we ever did something like this. We would just have a joke appear for half a second and then disappear. Do you know how money? You know how much money it makes us? It's just balls. Yeah. And then also my favorite recurring joke we've ever done.
I'd like to show you this chart right here. This is a very accurate chart.
God, my dad's really good at this. My dad's super. Let me show you this chart. This is a very accurate chart. It's like Valve's insane monies. Before Steam, about 1 million. After Steam, infinite million. It's such a dumb joke, but I think it just works perfectly in this situation because it helps that my dad's very, very good at this. Also, we're kind of cutting off his head a little bit there, but that's all right. This was one of the early videos we did completely on a green screen. Actually, I think it looks pretty good because you don't see the green outline around him. The person I used to have doing editing was very, very good at editing. They knew what they were doing. And yeah, let's continue.
As you can see, this is the amount of money we made making our own games. It's only millions and millions of dollars, small time. This is the amount of money we're making now selling other people's games.
Part of, I think, the appeal of a lot of these videos is that, like, I literally threw that entire graphic together in MS Paint and I think Microsoft Excel. I think what helped Gaming Wildlife in the early years is that some of these graphics look really shitty, but that's, I think, the appeal. I think it's funny that we look like that a lot of our stuff is very low tech, low key. It looks like it was just kind of thrown together, but that's the humor of it. I think that we were a lot of our early videos were very rough around the edges, and when something's kind of unpolished, you get this like raw element to it that's just damn good. It's really fun. It's really funny. When you make something that's really unpolished, it like the raw emotion of it comes out a bit more. When something starts to look a lot more polished, you spend so much time making it look pretty that you kind of lose focus on what it's trying to say. When something's very simple and straightforward, you get this, I don't know how else to say it, but just this video I think is done insanely well because it's very low tech, very low key. It's just my dad in front of a green screen with some graphics that I threw together very quickly, and then our editor put together the green screen. I think it looks really good because all of this is just you're getting the bare essentials of graphics on here to be able to just watch something that's just funny on its own. I don't know. I like the fact that Gaming Wildlife was kind of a diamond in the rough. Our stuff was never really polished. Our stuff was never really like high quality, but everything came across exactly the way I wanted it to. You know, there's something to taking a minimalist approach to these videos. Guy in front of a green screen, check out this really shitty graphic, and you just get a good laugh out of it. I really like a lot of our early quality videos because of that sort of thing.
As you can see, the amount is significantly more. I mean, it's insane. Even the profits of our own games have gone up since we began selling them on Steam. Since Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out, we have added 3,000 games to Steam, with over 65 million accounts worldwide and a daily count of over 6 million active accounts. Do you know how much money we made off of that? It's more than we ever made off of Half-Life 2. And that game won Game of the Decade from you guys. I know this makes us look like dicks, with us teasing the idea that Half-Life 3 might maybe someday possibly come out.
Never did.
But seriously, think about it. Try this. A small group of people want you to write another chapter of a popular book that you've written, while a much larger group wants to buy the cheap old ones you have 3,000 copies of. Which one would you choose?
Which one would the company choose? Yeah, it is. Yeah, this was our big prediction. Is that we predicted, hey, it seems like Valve is just gonna focus on selling stuff through Steam, and while Steam is great, I think it's still probably the best digital marketplace for video games, because Origin is awful and Epic Games is okay. They're not terrible. And then the digital marketplace for like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, they're fine. They do their own thing. But Steam is still, I think, the best, despite the fact that their customer service sucks and there's not a lot of quality control. Like, there is some, but not a lot of quality control with like what games get approved through Steam. Like, there's a lot of let's use the term anime games. You know what I'm talking about, that go through Steam. They seem to, I don't know, like, I think they're still the best platform to be able to just, hey, I want to be able to play a computer game. You may as well go through Steam. It's their best platform. But yeah, this was our early prediction of, hey, I think this is what Steam's going to end up doing from now on. They're just going to focus on selling other people's games and not selling their own stuff.
Of the last 4 games we made, one was an original title, or at least a sequel to an original title, while the other 3 were licensed from a group of completely different developers. We didn't even do the original Dota. We just put our name on the sequel.
It's true.
How did we accomplish that? Did I mention the insane amount of money we make from Steam? This is an accurate chart.
I love my dad. He's so damn funny, and he's really good at this. Have I mentioned that? My dad's just... My father, Doug Weaver, very, 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 very good at this.
So yes, it is a dick move to lead you on into thinking we might actually make games again. But if we didn't, then you might catch on to the fact that we are just another mindless corporation. But hey, at least Steam works better than Origin. Right, John? And remember, inventing games, long, arduous, hard, not very profitable. Making money off of other people's games, profitable. Valve, we used to make games. Now we make money.
Yeah. Valve, we used to make games. Now we make money. Again, the very punchy end credit video, or like the very punchy ending. Like we had some really solidly written like punchlines at the very end, and I feel like so many of the like punchlines at the very end kind of like were a bit too wordy, because we weren't able to summarize the thesis well enough. Well, I wasn't able to summarize the thesis well enough, but these early videos had a lot more simplicity to it, a lot less like text on screen. You still see some in this Valve one, but they kind of start to get a bit much as time went on. So yes, that was the end of If Valve Were 100% Honest With Us. The big thing about the end title sequence, that Valve, we used to make games, now we make money. Someone had actually, I can't remember when we started doing this, but for the first, 10, 12 episodes of If Yada Yada Were 100% Honest With Us, we just had the end title screen and didn't have anyone else on there. The reason we changed that was someone had took a screen cap of all of our end title screens and put it up on Reddit. And it got a bunch of upvotes, and people were like, hey, this is really funny. And it's like, hey, that's great, except they didn't credit us. And the problem was that our logo in the corner of the screen, which said Gaming Wildlife on it, either was cropped out or just didn't show up. And so they saw a bunch of these end title sequences and thought someone had just put all these together as sort of like a Photoshop, and we didn't receive credit for it. And so we were just like, oh shoot, we have to change that. So later on, you start noticing that during those end title sequences, Valve, we used to make games, now we make money, and I started putting people in there so that in case anyone ever took a screenshot of those again, we would get credit for it. Which, like, honestly, just seeing that our stuff got viral is a big deal, and that's pretty cool. It would have been nice if people were just like, hey, look at these end credit sequences, or look at these photos. That's funny, and people went, oh yeah, that's Gaming Wildlife. They do these videos and then link people to the videos. Granted, like Gaming Wildlife still ended up getting millions of views. Like as of the recording, this Valve episode has 2.1 million views, which is awesome. That's really cool. Um, and yeah, I'm hoping that this new channel can get some videos up to that point. We'll see. Maybe the Warner Brothers episode's going to get there. Because Sean is very, very funny and knows a lot about Warner Brothers, and so he and I are putting that episode together. I think it's going to be great. I think he's going to do a great job with it. And you're great. You watching this video, you're a great person. You're very good, and I appreciate you watching this. If you want to leave a like, that'd be great. If you want to give to our Patreon, that'd be great. If you want to watch some of our other videos, that'd be great too. And everything about this, like, subscribe, that'd be great. I didn't script this, if that's not obvious. Might react to another one. Our most popular video was Apple 100% Honest. Might react to that. Might do that another day, because I've recorded a few videos with this, and my batteries are nearly dead. One of them died in the middle of the recording. My audio recorder is almost dead, and I'm getting new batteries for these things, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next time on Geeks Welcome, and this is my outro. This is what it sounds like. I'm good at videos.